lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Deconstructing. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for all the love and support. To those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and to my channel members, you guys are the real MVP. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Alright lovelies, let's get in today's video. So lovelies, I came by this video on my For You page on TikTok where a lot of women are reacting to tradwife at 20s, then single women at 40s. So guys, I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of the stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me your own thoughts in the comment section and let's get into it.
We're talking about tradwives again today, and oh my god, do I have a story for you. TikTok ruined my husband of 12 years, now he wants a tradwife, and we're getting divorced. I'm gonna go through and summarize the article, but basically that they got married, they were never a traditional couple, they both worked, they both had the same hours at work, and all of a sudden he started watching tradwife content and idolizing a specific content creator and started making mean, nasty comparative comments to her and talking about how now he wants a submissive tradwife. Even though she said she never wanted to be a homemaker or a stay-at-home mom, and they had been living 12 years of their marriage with a very, very equal dynamic, and all of a sudden he becomes verbally abusive. He says he wants a submissive wife, that he deserves better, and yada, yada, yada. He ends up contacting other women, having emotional affairs, and now they're getting divorced. Quote unquote, because he deserves better. Now, as someone who does have a semi-50s aesthetic and is a stay-at-home mom, I often get lumped into this idea of being a tradwife. But I want to start off by saying there's nothing wrong with having traditional gender roles as long as that's something as the woman you want to participate in and you feel safe and supported in doing so. Same thing with dressing modestly. I don't think there's a problem with a woman choosing to dress modestly or a woman choosing to stay home with her children because that's how she feels the most fulfilled. I think the problem comes in when that's the type of woman a man is searching for, because usually they're doing that to search for somebody who they can be dominant over. And tradwife content can kind of lean into the fantasies of men like this, these men who are wishing to have this submissive, dominant role within their marriages. And what you see online absolutely has an element of fantasy and cosplay that gets lost in the social media literacy of some of these viewers. That is one of the reasons I take a lot of issue with tradwife creators on TikTok who talk about this being the idealized and natural role of a woman. Because although that might be right for you, making that a broad generalized statement can do some real harm to actual women and actual marriages, like in that article.
Have you ever asked yourself why it is that tradwives and other conservative female influencers who promote traditional gender roles have all the time in the world to make cereal from scratch, but somehow never seem to record themselves doing essential domestic labor like vacuuming, trying to get a particularly nasty stain out of a shirt, or scrubbing a toilet? When they are performing labor in these videos, it's always something that, strictly speaking, is unnecessary, and they are doing it the hardest way possible. Because the answer is that it is for show. It is all a performance. In his remarkably prescient 1899 book, The Theory of the Leisure Class, Thorsten Veblen coined the terms conspicuous consumption and conspicuous leisure, suggesting that those with wealth and power no longer having any economic production to contribute themselves, instead contribute to the production and consumption of leisure. And those consumption practices, those leisure activities, are conspicuous precisely because that is how the leisure class signals their difference from the working class, signals their exceptionality and their superiority. They're not better than us because they can make their children cereal from scratch. They're better than us because they are so wealthy and well off that they have nothing more important to worry about. And if we were to ever see tradwives perform essential productive domestic labor, or see their husbands perform any domestic labor at all, that would in fact mark them as failures as tradwives. As Veblen wrote in 1899, again, he could have written it yesterday, application to productive labor is a mark of poverty and subjection. It becomes inconsistent with a reputable standing in the community. Because these videos are not instructional. They are maybe inspirational, but they are always performative. This is not real labor. This is symbolic labor. It is nothing more than social signaling that this woman and her family belong to the leisure class. And it is also how she builds and signals her value if you are the sort of person who operates within an exchange economy that assigns high and low value value to human beings. Because her value to her husband is not in her ability to care for the home or care for the children, right? Anyone who is able to engage in this level of conspicuous leisure has somebody that they are paying to do all of those things. No, her value is instead in her ability to perform the role of trophy wife, and to be the ultimate realization and personification of her husband's socioeconomic prowess. Because tradwives are conspicuous consumers, yes, but it is the audience's consumption of tradwives that truly makes them valuable to their husbands.
I will not ever tell a man he can't do better or he won't find anyone like me, because he might find this girl. He might find himself a Nara Smith. He might find himself in a homemade bread, homemade cereal situation. And that's an upgrade, because baby, I can't cook. I sure can't make homemade bread. So that's why when they're gone, they're gone. I don't care, baby. You might not find someone like me. I hope not. I hope not. You know why? Because we broke up.
A lot of these trad wives are in my comments talking about, my man loves me, he would never do that to me. Lucifer loved God. He still betrayed him. That's the thing, you can't be like, my man would never, my man would never, my man would never. Check the comments. These men be nevering like a motherfucker. I mean, honestly. And the institution of marriage, I am married. I've been married for 7 years to a wonderful, equal partner who is an amazing guy, an amazing dad. But I'm not stupid enough to not have a job. Because if he left me tomorrow, I don't want to have to rebuild my life. Just saying. I don't want to have to rebuild my life. It's one thing to have confidence in your partner, and I do have a high degree in confidence with my partner and of my partner, but I'm not delusional. And I'm not stupid. Okay, I'm not a fool. I understand that things happen. People change. Life is a constant motion of evolving. People are always evolving. So why would I put my trust in a man? And what these young trad wives don't understand is that you are a choice to that man. And he can make a choice to keep you, or he can make a choice to leave you. And the fact that you are willing to gamble your life and your 40s and your 50s and your 60s on being a choice for a man, girl, God bless you. That's all.
What am I not understanding about Ballerina Farm and Nara Smith becoming the face of like the resurgence of tradwife culture? Those are unbelievably successful working women. And what you are observing is their work. What do you think a tradwife is? Like, they have children that they love and care for, but like they cook? It's like calling Rachel Ray a tradwife because she has a cooking show. Especially Nara Smith, she's like always talking about her and her husband, how they split childcare. Like, that is not tradwife.
This is going to be controversial, but when it comes to the tradwife at 20 to single mom at 40 pipeline, y'all really have no one but yourselves to blame. What do y'all think the second wave feminist movement was all about? The grannies been told us. The aunties been told us. Our grandmothers had to fight the U.S. government to get bank accounts. And barely even 50 years later, y'all are voluntarily giving them up because Connor from English 101 told you he was going to love you forever. What? Y'all, please BFFR. We are so much smarter than this, ladies. Do not trust the relationship decisions you make at a time where your boobs are fully developed, but your brain is not. When you let a man have complete and total financial control over you, he will always eventually fuck you over. At the end of the day, they're always going to have the mindset of, well, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. The entire stability of your life cannot rely on a man that you marry in your 20s wanting you for the next 60 years, and vice versa, because the tea is, what happens when you wake up and you don't want him anymore? What happens when you're ready to walk away, but you have no job experience, no bank account, nothing, because your entire future relied on this guy, this one human being wanting you forever, or you wanting them forever? I love my man down. I would die for that man right now. I truly am in love with him from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head, but I will always love myself more. Always. I'm talking separate bank accounts, prenup, the works. Because when you fail to plan, you're what? Planning to fail. Always remember, if you don't take nothing else away from this conversation, always remember, a man is not a plan. A man is not a plan. A man is not a plan.
There's a recent trend of videos circulating on here about trad wives and, you know, how you don't see women in their 40s and 50s glamorizing that life. And yeah, because it sucks. I was a trad wife and I never expected that I would be one. I kind of ended up somewhat against my will. Around my 1-year anniversary, I was told, your job is stressing you out too much. You are taking it out on me. It's sabotaging the marriage, and you have to make a choice. I remember where I was sitting, what I was eating when that conversation went down, and the sinking feeling I had, and I didn't want to give up my very successful, high-earning career. But I thought, what kind of person would I be if I chose a job over family? So I chose family. And 10 years later, I realized that it completely destroyed my life. Always keep a job. Always have some sort of way to have an income stream. Get paid for what you're doing. Make sure there are protections. Make sure things get titled in your name. Don't believe the future faking. Don't get your foot out of your career. Take care of yourself. Yeah, it might be nice and fun to take care of your husband, and you can still do that, but always take care of yourself, because the tides turn real fucking fast, especially when they're holding all the cards and they want you to do things a certain way, and after years and years of doing it a certain way, you decide to stand up for yourself. They fall out of love with you real fucking fast. So take care of yourself, always. There's a reason.
I was raised to be a trad wife. By the time I was 21, I was so burned out. And then I was like, oh, I can make money? The logic stands, you want to raise a trad wife. Uno reverse, raise a boss babe. By 25, she'll be burnt out. And then she'll start thinking, like, what if I just bought a cow?
That's me right now, almost 22, and all I think about is buying cows and running away from literally all of this. Somebody said, raised to be a trad wife, raised to work at 17, 34 now, I want to stay home. I cannot tell you how many videos are out there of all of these girls just being like, why did we do this? Why did we let feminism win? Somebody else said, I was raised to be a boss babe. I've literally asked my husband if we could buy a sheep farm. I love that for you, as you should. Another girl said, I worked 2 jobs from 15 to 19, then 19 to 26, working full-time as a nurse. Please just give me a cottage and a cow. I yearned for it. It's almost like we're biologically designed for these things.
Like, seriously, lovelies, I think I can actually understand their point of views. Like, they use this lady that actually make cereal from scratch as an example of a trad wife, and this actually got a lot of people, you know, talking and all of that. Like, how can she be making stuff like that from scratch? Maybe because she's a woman, or because maybe she's just trying to, you know, tell women how to be a trad wife, and which actually still exists. Some women have gone through this, and a lot of women succeeded, while some of them, you know, have their own experiences and decided to tell people not to, or tell women exactly not to actually indulge themselves with a traditional wife without doing anything, depending so purposely on your husband. And this is actually not a good idea. The woman which they use as an example, on the other hand, she's an influencer on, you know, TikTok, social medias and all of that. She's practically not a traditional wife. Traditional wife is in the sense that you will depend so purposely, as in, you just depend on your husband in terms of anything that you want to get yourself. You don't have any means of, you know, monetary values or whatsoever that you produce for yourself or you provide for yourself. Your husband takes responsibility of from 0 to 100% of your, you know, income demands and all of that. But she, on the other hand, this bit of woman, she is an influencer. She does TikTok. She, you know, She shows us how she make whatever she want to make from scratch and all of that, trying to tell people that, okay, this is a traditional wife, but you are a traditional wife making ends meet, in terms of your content creation. So you are not a typical, traditional wife. So this what actually got people like, okay, you're trying to make people feel like, okay, I'm a traditional, but what you're actually doing is generating income for yourself. You are not an absolute trad wife. Because for someone to be a trad wife, you need to depend on your husband. You don't have any income coming in for yourself and all of that. This woman is just basically sharing her family, her life, and how traditional they are. And people were like, a lot of people were actually coming for her, bashing her wife. Some people were like, oh my goodness. Some guys were like, oh my goodness, this is, But this actually got a lot of women to come out to talk about, traditional wife at 20s, why do you be single at 40s? And this is what has been going through in most families. I remember actually, talking about some experiences my friend had and how she's been working, and want to let you know that she got the man of her dreams. She, decided to leave her job, get pregnant. Before you know it, this guy is overwhelmed and filing for a divorce. Now she still want to go out there, start over again to get her job and her career put together. And this is something that every woman should look into before trying to leave your job for the sake of, okay, you want to actually, depend so purposely on marriage, taking care of your families and all of that. It worked that period of time, doesn't mean that it's going to work now. A lot of women have experience like this. Other women stitched her video talking about how she was married, and after everything said and done, she had nothing for herself. She don't have anything for herself. So she needs to go ahead, the divorce. After the husband must have sent her for a divorce, like he needs a divorce. So now she needs to start her life afresh, fresh. And this is not something that any woman should go through. So if you're planning to be a traditional wife, or if an advocate for a traditional wife, you should be able to at least tell these people the truth. You should tell them that even if you want to be a traditional wife, you should be able to make something, one or two things for yourself. Make sure you have something on your name. Make sure that you are not left, you're just left without anything on you, because you don't know what happens in the future. The way the relationship begins now it does not justify how the relationship ends. A lot of relationships start off with, how relationship is when you're in a new relationship. It's all rosy, the plans and all of that. And when, this relationship has turned to maybe developed, maybe you guys have gotten like 1 or 2 kids, I don't know why the male part in the relationship often have this thing of, okay, I just want to try it somewhere else. I want to move on. I'm so tired. I'm bored of this relationship. So what happens to this woman that actually wasted her time, her years and everything building your own career, and forgetting hers because she actually wants to maybe take care of kids, take care of the house, make food from scratch and all of that. So that's why it's so advisable for a woman, even if you want to be a traditional wife, please, you should be able to make something for your family, and do not be deceived by this, woman that actually talked about, oh my God, I'm making food from scratch. Nobody's telling you not to make food from scratch. Nobody's telling you not to be a traditional wife, but you should be able to tell people the truth. Just tell them that I don't know why people are actually bashing her, because a lot of people are like, okay, she's giving this traditional wife of a thing, trying to tell people, okay, it still exists and all of that. But in the essence, she's still making money for herself. so even if you want to go through her, her own type of, teaches and all of that, if you want to learn 1 or 2 things, you should be able to learn on how to also generate money the way she's generating. So that is it. When I come across this video, I was like, this is so true, because a lot of women have been into, all sort of, relationship saga, divorce. It all started well, and after a long period of time in the relationship, especially 10 years, 20 years, when there's no more thing for you to do and all of that, you become and you are left with nothing. Seriously. So it's best for us to at least start off building something, build income, own something up for ourselves, own something for your own name to You can as well, get yourself started with something so that in case of tomorrow, if anything happens, you could just see what you can fall back on. There's a video I posted about a woman that came out, ranting, crying how she is divorced in a divorce process and also homeless. How could you be in a divorce process and you are homeless? Like, this is something that shouldn't happen to anyone. This thing shouldn't happen to anyone. She was crying out, trying to ask people for help and all that. And I keep on wondering, like, all your years of marriage in the marriage, so you are just, depending on your husband. He has told you, he has promised you that he's going to provide everything that you needed or they need in the relationship without leaving anything for your name. So why will you just do this? Is just an eye-opener to every woman out there. Things are changing. These men are not the men of our days, and women of these days are as in they want to own something for themselves. They are struggling women. They're not traditional women anymore. So we should just stop deceiving ourselves, like, oh my God, traditional, my husband take care of me, everything. Oh my God, it's good for him to take care of you, but you should be able to own something for yourself. Anyway, lovelies, why not just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think of this video. And do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying, harassment, or whatsoever. We're just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe if you're here to do that, and I will see you, lovelies, when I upload the next one.